So as you mentioned, you competed in two big tournaments for yourself with the Red Bull Conquest and the Northwest Majors last year. You have the Northwest Majors coming up again this year. And then I know you have certain goals for yourself, big picture wise, with Evo. Was there a certain thing that kind of made you want to compete more, I guess, particularly? Or was it just, like you said, to challenge yourself and see what you could do?
First and foremost, actually, excuse me. First and foremost, for me, it's a bucket list thing to compete at Evo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say I'm going to stop playing fighting games, but the thrill of the fight, essentially. I've always kind of prided myself in being, a competent player. I basically was chasing my cousin, though he wasn't looking at it that way. He was just like, I'm just going to teach you how to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I felt that once I surpassed him because he stopped playing fighting games, and I still played fighting games, and just realizing that he still has buddies who play competitively, and he's invited them over. And when I used to hang out at his place, right around when Ninja was born, because I was working in the Bay Area on the weekends, and he would always have one or two buddies who were like, they still competed. Guys would be in their early 40s now, maybe super late 30s. I'm not too far behind them, but
Mm-hmm.
they definitely have a few years over me. And when they say that I practice with so and so who goes to Evo, so knowing that that there's a link there that I'm playing against people who play against who train people who play fighting games for a living,
Mm-hmm.
like the thought of like, well, if I can beat this guy, then maybe I can go in and get invited or have him come over. We can throw it down. But it's always been the chase to be better than my cousin. Um, and once I kind of checked that off, because he basically lost interest in fighting games,
Mm-hmm.
right? And Street Fighter 4, after like second season or whatever, I forget.
Mm-hmm.
But we just completely dropped it, and it was just like, I'll just play Call of Duty from now on. Like I checked that off my mental list of, all right, even though I know my cousin in his current state of playing fighting games, I could probably dust him no problem.
Mm-hmm.
Those friends that like pick and pulled and said, dude, like you know better. Like they would critique me during a match.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, this is low key. You're teaching right now.
Mm-hmm.
So after I started getting that critique and that criticism, and hearing a lot of extras that I'm doing, but there's a lot of good things I'm doing at the same time. It evens out, but the plea and the ear for what am I doing right, what am I doing wrong, was kind of like brought me back to the whole experience of I'm seeking confident fighter. I'm seeking to be a confident gamer, and so after we had, geez, it must have been months where I was trading off matches for matches. I probably had you know, probably like a 25% win ratio over these 4 or 5 guys. But
Mm-hmm.
then I took that with me going to Sacramento and back to San Jose for like local tournaments, and was I placing? No, but I was beating some people who backed me, and so understanding that I still have the drive to be a competent player has always been like, all right, well, it's not X Men versus Street Fighter where I feel I'm really good at.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a game I will run my mouth a bit, but just knowing that the big picture is I have to, not that I need to, I have to compete at Evo. And the fact that I've been given the opportunity to go to a free tournament that's sponsored by Red Bull
Mm-hmm.
for free. Actually, it was like $10, but still,
Mm-hmm.
$10 to go and meet. I crossed off two things off my list. I got to meet Yikes.
Yep.
I got to meet Persia last year. Those two people like inspire me because like I've chatted with them before. Actually, more Yikes when I go on his channel like Um, but knowing the fact that he's like, dude, you're hungry, just keep going. Someone that's the voice of Marvel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's a huge pat on my back. He's like, oh, how'd you do? I was like, well, I got SPD'd by pro players and such and such and such and such. Dude, just keep playing.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna play to your full potential. You make it those because I had like I was like, they're free, free Red Bulls. This is probably bad for my blood pressure. But I was able to. I mean, I had the experience that I had at Red Bull was a ton of gamers. Whether it's Tekken 7, whether it's Guilty Gear, whether it's Street Fighter 5, whether it's Smash, whether it's, pick a game. I've met them. The experience, the opportunity to go to such an experience, and the eagerness to want to learn so that I can continue to grow as a competent gamer. I mean, I'm 34 and I've been playing games since I was 5 years old, man. That's 29 years, you know what I mean? I've had a lifetime of trying to understand Street Fighter 2 mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't have that same eagerness until I was, my late teens or so.
Right.
And now it's like, it's just, for me, it's a natural, like, wow, I did that.
Mm-hmm.
People who, whether they're sponsored or not, I took off 50% off so-and-so's name, double perfect, no problem. We're taking off 33% of somebody's life. Do they really mean it? Maybe. But I take those pluses where they say, hey, you did this good, is where you really fell off.
Mm-hmm.
That's the that's the cup of water I want to drink from. It's like, point out my mistakes so I can keep that as a mental check. So next time I play someone who's playing your character specifically, not the way that they're going to play them completely the same, but I'll understand that I can't do this in this situation, or just know that if I do this and this is the situation, I'm gonna get whacked, and that's part of knowing why you're getting hit. That's part of why you're losing rounds, why you're losing matches. And focus is to, hey, it all comes back down to my cousin's friends that said, hey, you're a pretty good competitor, just keep playing. 12 years later from Yipes, dude, just keep playing, just keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Like that chase for me to be a competent player and the experience overall is like, dude, I can see myself doing this until PlayStation 7, PlayStation 8 comes out. Everything's virtual reality.
Yep.
They'll have virtual arcade stick for me to play.
There you go.
No, I mean, it's just something I don't think I can. It's just something that I don't think I can just kind of let go. I have to continue to chase it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think it's good, at least from what we've talked about, like, on the side of like having that community that you go to, like Danny obviously, and then the rest of the attorneys that you talked about, the casuals that you go to. You got a group, and you've been learning different games, like you mentioned, hopping back into Tekken 7, and then obviously the anime fighter and stuff like that. I think that's good, and I'm really happy for you that you have this goal that you set for yourself, because I think it's amazing, especially knowing what EVO is. And yeah, regardless of how it turns out, that's still an awesome thing that you're pushing yourself to do. And I hope it happens for you in any way that we can help. Obviously we want to. So obviously Street Fighter 5 is the big one that you compete with. Are there any games that you have dabbled with competing with or want to compete with? Anything particular?
I'm actually starting to look at, Tekken 7, Julia and Armor King are the two characters. I take that back. Julia, Armor King, June, and Josie.
Mm-hmm.
Just Josie is Bruce Irvin, who was my favorite character of the whole Tekken series. And she's Filipino, so I have to represent the Filipinos. And Tekken 7 is fun, though. Like, the only thing that really aggravates me is the wall.
Oh, yeah.
get pinned up against the wall, it is the most infuriating thing ever. But you know what? You have to understand, why did you get put into there? Why did you get, how and why did you get into that situation?
Mm-hmm.
Eunice is a game I definitely want to learn. In Guilty Gear, Exert 2.
Yeah, there too.
I mean, like, the character I want to play, Chip, the ninja, requires a lot of. I'm hearing he's very difficult to play if you want to play him correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Say that's anybody really. I mean, he's a character that from day one I was like, dude, this is like 1996, 1997. I'm talking. I could easily put Kai or Soul, but I'm like, they're like Ken and Ryu of the game. I don't want to play those guys,
Mm-hmm.
like, or Bang or whatever the name is. I want to play a character that, if I don't play Chip, I'm probably gonna play Jam, who's just as nuts, and she has to be in your face. And I normally don't really play that. I like mid-range people that can just good damage, and I like to counter hit, counter poke. If I can force you to press a specific button, I know my button's gonna beat yours. I'm going to set you up until you catch on to it. And I mean, those three. Eunice, not in any specific order. Eunice, just because it's fresh.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's a surprise Evo game this year.
Right.
A lot of people were like, wow, how did that make it in there?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you'll get Exert too. I mean, I have a very, very good pushy buddy by the name of Hellsap, who is known in the Oregon scene that I don't know what his actual title or what his, how good he is, but I know that he's really good, and he pushes for the growth of the scene, as far as just making sure that he'll teach you the fundamentals in a way that it's going to play to how he learned the game.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't want to say conflict. It's just I haven't time to sit down with gear to learn the fundamentals. And I know that if I get the crash course version from him, it's going to be a little too much,
Mm-hmm.
because it would be fast paced. You go into a college career course where normally it takes 16 weeks and you got 7 weeks to learn it.
Yeah.
It would be the same effect. It's just going to be a ton of information, and it's not going to stick. It's just going to go. So I feel that I think after Northwest, I've been telling myself after like the next one or after the next one, I'm going to sit down. But just feeling how Eunice plays, and I can see myself kind of apply not necessarily the same understanding of the game to Guilty Gear, because Gear is another monster in itself. But having my eyes being trained to how anime games play, that's probably going to force me back into Dragon Ball, to be honest. Even though I know they're getting GT Kid Goku, which is kind of like, ugh.
Another Goku, just so we need.
They didn't want to. They didn't want to put Goten in the game, so they're going to put GT Goku.
Yep.
But whatever. I mean, I got Vegito. 4 kinds of, I don't know, 5 kinds of Vegetas.
Yep. Yep.
But I feel that Eunice is going to be my foot in the door to anime games. That will help me understand why, when I'm playing Tien Shin Han and his volley thing doesn't, his Neo Tri-Beam, I didn't even understand that there was a little disclaimer every time you use a Tri-Beam or Neo Tri-Beam, it takes off 10% of your life. I heard that got nerfed, so thank God.
Yeah, it has.
His life, and he already sacrificed his Chaozu, so it's not even fair. And I feel that Eunice is going to be the game that bridges my eyes to be able to follow anime games, I feel.
Cool.
Because I got a buddy out at our casuals that's like, he's always like, hey man, let's play this game. I'm like, I don't know, I've never played that game. All right, here's a controller. Start playing. All right, let's play.
Great.
So, I feel like that's kind of like what happened with me. It's like, I'll hop in. No one wants to play it, so you know what? I guess I got next. I got a controller and someone lined up, and next thing I'm beating 6 people. It's like, dude, I've only played this. How and why are you beating us? I've been playing this game for like months. So, those would be the games and combat. Mortal Kombat is definitely something it's got my interest now. So I just have to see how this variant system is going to work. And in there, Scorpion's there by default. Kang looks nuts.
Oh,
we
yeah.
got Jackie. He's probably been a new character I want to learn. I mean, Johnny Cage is there, so I mean, I got the three that I was looking forward to the most. I mean, Scorpion again, so Jackie, Briggs.
Cool. All right. Well, that's a transition. A little bit earlier with Dragon Ball Fighters. So recently, shout out Snowbike Mike. He hosted a weekly tournament that was Dragon Ball Fighters, and I was like, all right, cool, a fighting game finally. So I decided to hop in. It was a small tournament, only 4 of us participated, but I had a blast playing it. I got to winners, then I lost, then I was in losers bracket, and the guy I beat before beat me, so eventually got eliminated. But it was a blast playing. But we did one practice match beforehand with the person on the opposite side of the bracket. But man, after that first match, the rush of adrenaline I had for whatever reason of just like, this isn't even for anything like it's big, but like, holy crap, my hands were shaking and stuff like that. So I guess to wrap up this topic, Dio, how do you keep control of your nerves when playing?
When it comes to competition, man, that's I mean, you as an instructor, have years of that. It's legit, man. And it's just it's a different form because now you're competing. Normally, you're the one that's doing the teaching. Now you gotta learn to be taught. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that when I definitely have the jitters. I mean, I was having the jitters last night playing those 8 or 9 matches I played. Just in a way, like my way that I kind of keep myself in check. I'll talk to myself during a match. I will be like, don't do that. Just slow down. Especially if it's like, for example, I had like 60% life. My opponent had like 15%, and he was just trying to rush. I'm like, dude, like all I have to do is just block and just wait. What did I do? I ended up losing that round because I rushed in and tried to throw blows for blows. The next time I got into that situation, I was like 40% life, and he still had like 30% life. Like, he just took a deep breath, I jumped backwards, had enough space, and I said, you know what, slow down. That just kind of helped me, like, that'll help me focus back onto like my game plan of, all right, let's not get into a scramble. We know what happened. He took 60% of my life in a matter of 17 seconds because I wanted to throw blows and get the match over with. Stick to my game plan as to why I have the life lead now. Stick to my game plan and let him play to my strengths, or let him play my game plan. Don't try to play. And I always tell myself that too. Don't play their game plan. They want you to come in. They're gonna get the life lead, and then are they the type of people that's just gonna sit back and wait, or are they gonna just throw a lot of buttons, and next thing you know, you're trying to hit those buttons, and that's what. So for me, to answer your question, I tell myself, I talk to myself, I'll verbally say, slow down, or take a deep breath. Say, all right, I'm winning, or I'm losing. And that usually is enough to be like, all right, let's think about it. Okay. And then just kind of something else I do too is like match is going. I'll actually just say, oh, okay, he's jumping. I'll actually say what they're doing. Standing medium punch. Standing medium punch. But if he throws it again, I'm going to stock my game plan. Another medium punch, I'm going to sweep him. And what am I going to do? Set up the meaty. Throw a button out there and hopefully he blocks and doesn't wake up and dragon punch me. Or I'm going to jump back. I talk about my game plan as I'm going. It's different because if you're in the tournament.
Yeah, it's right there.
Well, most people are going to have like headphones because I don't like how some tournaments are like everything is, it's sponsored. Then you have to wear headphones and stuff.
Right.
So, I know that's been a complaint against not even just like, regular players like us, but even some sponsored players kind of complain about that too. But The biggest thing is for me, I need to hear the video game, and if I feel like I'm having like Red Bull fingers or whatever, it's like try to stick to your game plan and just talk to yourself. I mean that helps me. Is it going to help you? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Until you get to a situation where you're like, okay, so I still have my trunks. I still have my Tien. He's down to the Yamcha. I play Yamcha too. So all I'm gonna do is focus on what buttons or what this character is gonna be able to do with whatever he has. I know this is a little much because you're gonna be like, all right, so he's got like 2 meters. He has 2 supers. He still has Sparkle or Sparking, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, he's got level 3 X Factor. He's got 60% max life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm just going to take my time and slow down. And sometimes that's what it takes is just slowing down your play. So that way you can be like, okay, I think it's safe to jump now.
Right.
And just kind of for me again, this is just for me. I remind myself, okay, I got into this position because I was being patient, rushing, or don't throw because I want you to come in so they can punch you in the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So certain places too, like I've had the opportunity to not necessarily coach someone, but because some tournaments don't allow coaching, which is there are some tournaments that allow it, but
mm-hmm.
at the same time, it's like it was doing a money match like months ago. It was like $20. Let's go, $20. All right, dude. He's gonna crouch me and punch you all day. Beat that. That's all I said. And that was like while they're picking the characters and stuff. So from sometimes just hearing it from someone else, kind of like, okay, all right, or I'll slow down because I'm excited right now. And it's tough because every situation is different. The jitters, man. Like it doesn't help to have like a ton of caffeine. Like when I went last year, it was rough. Because it's like I'm already nervous as it is. I'm playing pro players, my first tournament ever. But even online, it's like, all right, just slow down. Maybe just say something about your game plan. I mean, that helps for me. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I plan on. I have a plan to kind of see if I can reach out to the Kind of Funny community who did participate in that tournament and seems to want to play more, and see if maybe we can get like that casual kind of thing going, like you were saying with your guys out west, and just play more because ultimately, like you said, play more, you'll get better XP, stuff like that.
And that's important because that's why I think I fell off with Dragon Ball, to be honest. Like it's a beautiful game. It is visually, it's stunning. It's much faster than Guilty Gear. It's much faster than Eunice. It's like Marvel on crack, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because it's on X Factor level 3 when you're playing that game.
Mm-hmm.
You have your Dragon Rush or your throw, and your Super Dash or whatever, and then your lifter, or whatever the button is. Down heavy or whatever, chase, B, special move, super tag, super.
Yep.
Felt that. Or you play, your eyes will adjust.
Mm-hmm.
If you scan the screen too, don't play the game and be like, okay, if you're about to land a hard knockdown or something that's going to end the combo, take a quick glance. It's going to help you. Like, all right, life lead, time, Sparkle, and check. Meter, check. Okay, how many Dragon Balls? Check. All right, he's still falling. Okay, now I can think about what my next thing is. Should I chase him? We'll go on level 1 super, or am I just going to let him up? Blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a guaranteed hard knockdown or a transition where it's going to, where you and your opponent can't necessarily do anything, always scan to keep an eye. That's going to help, okay, so what I'm doing is right.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm doing is going to lead to him losing life and me keeping my life.
Mm-hmm.
just based on being able to see, what their, what their utility, not utilities, but their meter and how much life they have. They, of course, you have to keep an eye if they have sparkle or not.
Right.
But also which character they have, because you never know. Their anchor character could technically be their best character, could be their weakest character. He probably won't use it to assist. Tag super, that's it. He's a meat shield. He's just gonna, vice versa, rinse and repeat. But that goes into just in this match, saying that you already you have your you're trying to work towards butters to what your muscle memory is, and that's going to help you get all those situations. I feel. I'm just talking about it too, like the mental game is like that's next level. Like when you want to learn about the game, you're not playing the game. The game's not even in front of you. You're just talking about. Well, if someone jumps with you're already understanding. You're already grasping. You're already starting to learn. This is what I can do in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's. I'm just getting like a lecture months ago about even just talking about the situation is that shows your character knowledge. To be honest, your understanding of what you can't do per character, and it's a tough thing to do, but the more you do it, the more secondhand it becomes, and you're like, oh, that's just what I was talking about. I can do this. Boom. Next thing you know, combo dead. Like, dude, that was easy. So that's something I'm actually trying to kind of learn as I'm getting ready for this whole thing. I talk about it, and it's like, dude, I'm like, like after I paid for my ticket to get in, I was like, dude, this is a weird feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Really weird, but I'm excited. So
nice.